Hello everyone, I know it's been a while since you have heard from me. I have been busy and of course preparing for the 26th of October, probably the most important day in British history, especially this year at least. Now we already know Tommy's facing Crown Court, or court as they say, prosecutions on the 28th, I think it's Crown, it might be Magistrates, I'm not too sure. If he's looking at 4 years, it would have to be Crown because it wouldn't be Magistrates. Magistrates can only give 2 years or less. So we know that that's happening on the 28th, we've got the rally on the 26th. Now, we've had intel suggesting that the unions, the work unions, trade unions, are getting involved with this, with Stand Up to Racism. They have been, the unions that are funded by our government, by taxpayers, us taxpayers, are setting up coaches to come and stop, not protest against, but stop. Very important you notice that word. Tommy Robinson, the fascists rally, apparently. Now, listen, we all know those who attend Tommy Robinson's rallies, uniting the kingdom. He is far from a fascist, far from a racist. Most of the people that were taking part in the last rally on 27th of July in Trafalgar Square were predominantly black people. There was many people from different faiths, Sikhs, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, atheists, agnostics, and believe it or not, a few Muslims. Muslims that agree with our way of life, that enjoy our way of life, the freedoms that we have, ones that are all too familiar with how Sharia law can affect one's life in a different country. Let's say the Islamic states, for instance. So those are the type of Muslims that come, and they also don't agree with Sharia law. They don't want Sharia law in the UK or any kind of communist regime that Keir Starmer and his minions have in store for us. Excuse the dog barking. Now, these unions and Keir Starmer, of course, Tommy has addressed them personally in videos in the past, and let's not forget how the leftists behave. They take things to heart as an insult, and they use their power in order to abuse or argue back, let's say, to abuse others, to take them down or cancel them. And we're going to see this with Tommy on the 28th when he's in court. I personally don't believe they'll give him a prison sentence straight away. I personally believe it's not in their interest to do so because it could spark problems across the UK. However, that could be something Keir wants to then bring in new laws on protesting or rallies, which brings me to this. October the 26th, people from all over the UK and far and wide across the globe are going to come and celebrate the freedoms that we have here and celebrate the culture that we're seeing being destroyed by the far left and the Islamists. And when we get together, as you know, that for those who have been there, there is nothing but love in the atmosphere. However, now the unions are involved and Keir Starmer is personally attacked and his name has been addressed by Tommy himself, they are going to do their damn right best to make sure that this goes bad, this goes to shit. And I'm telling you now, if they don't infiltrate this rally by having people that are pretending to be us, to kick off, cause problems with the police, cause problems somewhere else, fake arrests, all this nonsense, we're going to see something, I guarantee you. Because the headlines are screaming for it. They've already got the headline. They just need the photo or video. That's all they need. But I'm also telling those that are attending this event, it's very important that if you do see this, do not react. You're going to get people, because believe me, from the stuff that I know personally already, there are a lot of people that are coming to oppose this event that weren't there on the ones in Trafalgar Square or Parliament Square. So we're going to see masses of people try and stand up or oppose what we're doing on the 26th of October, which is nothing short but uniting the kingdom and letting everybody who feels they're ignored have a voice, a platform. It's so sad that people like Tommy get targeted by government, and they're using their powers to silence Tommy and those who agree with him. People like myself even. I've been persecuted and targeted personally for my beliefs. Even though I'm not affiliated directly with Tommy, I still get targeted because I agree with what he says, like the majority of the country does. Some are too scared to admit that, which I tell you, don't be. You have to stand up against tyranny, otherwise it grows and it takes over. And Tommy is an icon of how to do that. When there are problems, you call them out. When people attack you, you stand up to them. And when there's tyranny, you expose it. Now, these hypocrites that are going to directly attack us on October the 26th, I am warning you all now, those that are attending, do not bite to it, do not rise to the occasion. They're not worth it, and let's prove to them we are not what they're trying to make us out to be, and it's them that are the problem. I have got a really bad feeling about the 26th, and although I'm taking part and doing some work towards it myself, I'm still going to be going. There's nothing in this world that will stop me from attending the 26th of October. And that's because this country, as far as I believe it, we are borderline now of there being no return, of no going back. And if we do not attend in our masses and our numbers to give our message to the government, to the establishment as a whole, on both sides, we're going to be in massive trouble. Nigel Farage as well, you need to stop attacking Tommy, and you need to start speaking up for what the British people are asking for. You have already lost a number of supporters heavily after your comments that you made on mass deportation. I agree mass deportation isn't great, it's not nice. However, when you've got the reasons that we do for it, they all make sense. We don't want people here attacking our children, the most vulnerable in our society. We are sick of migrants coming here, tattooed with beards, being placed in schools with our children. We are sick of women that work for the NHS, our nurses, going out for a walk in a park to then be throat-effed to death. Yes, you heard that rightly. And then get away with murder or manslaughter after. We are fed up of our women being sexually assaulted as a whole. We are fed up of the grooming gangs that are abusing the children in places like Rotherham, Telford and other places that haven't been listed as of yet. And we are also sick of how the establishment ignore it, or if worse, like they did in Telford and Rotherham, play their part in it. The corruption in this country, on this land, through this government is disgusting, and massive reform needs to take place. And unless you, Nigel, are going to speak up and say exactly how the British people are speaking, without worrying what the left or the Conservative or the media is going to say about you, because they hate you already, Nigel. You're never going to get on their side. But if you do not directly say things for how they are and make decisions for the British people, they too will turn against you. In fact, they'll turn against you worse than they did with Starmer, because you gave them false hope. At least with Starmer, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. With you, you gave us false hope. We attended, spent money, we attended your rallies, we attended all the conventions, conferences that you set up, for you then to do a U-turn on what you promised us. Britain for the British. Now, I am all in favour for housing refugees, genuine ones that are fleeing war-torn countries, not ones that are fleeing France, a simple, peaceful country that is half hour across the channel. We need to take in those from maybe Ukraine, or maybe those in Israel that have been attacked. How about that? Why can't we house them? Or why not talk about the real problems happening in the world, the real genocides taking place in Armenia and other Christian countries, the ones the mass media do not like to talk about or never talk about, the hundreds of thousands of displaced Christian families and tortured mums and dads in Armenia by, again, Islamist organisations that are causing havoc across the globe. It will not be long until these organisations come to form one caliphate. And when that happens, my friends, we are going to be in massive trouble, especially as divided as we are, because we're not going to have an army to fight back. And if we do have an army that hasn't been infiltrated already, then it's not going to be that great. Look at the men that we have in today for society. Look at the people like Sam Smith, the icons for men nowadays. Anyway, rant over. 26th of October, beware of these unions. If you have received an email from your union, because most people who go to work do have a union representative, and if you have received an email, ignore it. Don't take part. Seriously. They are trying to propagate the most obscene bullshit that we have heard in history. And all these labels they throw at us, fascists, racists, are those that self-describe themselves. They need to take a deeper look at home, a longer hard look in the mirror, and start waking up to the truths that this country is truly, wellly fucked.